Hello and welcome to FF3D TV. I'm Andy Zajac here to introduce a brand new fantasy football themed tabletop game. Fantasy Football Draft, Deals, and Dice is a 2 to 4 player card drafting and dice rolling game that can be played in 60 to 90 minutes. Unlike most football-themed board games, FF3D focuses strictly on replicating the fantasy football player's experience during a football season. Just like fantasy football, FF3D is quick and simple to learn, while still providing a deep level of strategy for more advanced players. The start of the game features everyone's favorite part of fantasy football, the fantasy draft. In FF3D, the player pool for each draft is randomly generated through an innovative skill and upside rating system at the start of every game. This means that every draft will be 100% unique and require players to develop new strategies every season. The latest FF3D draft just got underway, so let's check in on the action. It looks like a very interesting draft pool has been laid out for the players to start this game. With plenty of depth in running back and very little talent among the wide receivers and tight ends, it will be interesting to see how this draft plays out. Looks like the pick is in. With the first pick in the draft, Steve decides to take the Denver quarterback. There is definitely a top tier for quarterbacks, as there is a steep drop-off in production after the top 3 quarterbacks. So Steve is locking down the position early, since they could all be gone by the time he picks again in the second round. Nice strategy there, Steve. While the rest of the draft finishes up, let's go over some of the things that will be happening during these players' upcoming season. FF3D follows the same basic format of a standard fantasy football league, but as a replayable tabletop game. Owners will draft their teams, set their starting lineups, and compete against other players in head-to-head matchups during each week of the season. The goal of the game is to maximize the projections of your starting lineup and roll for more points than your opponent each week. The 2 players who have the best record at the end of the regular season advance to the playoffs, with the winner of the final game becoming the FF3D champion. During the season, the players will need to make lineup decisions to deal with changes in their players' projections from injuries, hot streaks, and defensive matchups each week. There is also a waivers and free agency process each week, and players can make trades with other players just as they would in fantasy football. The game is currently funding on Kickstarter, and the campaign features several premium pledge options that allow backers to have themselves added into the game as one of the custom characters. Your pledge will allow you to become the model for a player in the game, including having your last name, hometown, and school of choice added to your player's card. There is even an option to become a team owner in the game. Well, if you've ever wanted to own your own football team, this probably is the cheapest it will ever get. Fantasy Football Draft, Deals, and Dice is a fun, exciting, and uniquely replayable fantasy football experience in a tabletop game. If being able to start a fantasy football season whenever you want sounds like fun, please pledge now to help make this game a reality.